This is the end of the beginning. Welcome to today's show. One of the things that we all need to pay attention to is what they're doing with cash and the ways they're going to manipulate people into getting into the digital currency. And this is one of the ways, right? They're talking about Americans burning through excess savings from the whole thing that was planned that just happened a couple of years ago. And how people who had money saved up, because remember, we've always heard the propaganda about save your money and invest your money. And of course, they've always wanted people to invest so that they can do things like this when they at least destroy the market, which is very close to happening. I know a lot of people out there are like, well, they're not going to destroy it. Well, the market could go either way. It could go insanely up where they say, hey, inflation and all this stuff is insane. The dollar's not worth this. We got to reset everything. They obviously could do a lot of things with hacking to take people's money or to drain people's bank accounts, or they could just do things like this, where they're literally telling you that people are burning through their money and the Fed can't even print money anymore. That they can't print it. What? They're running out of paper? Is that what it is? Or is that bad for the climate too? And these are the types of manipulative ways that they're going to get people by saying, look, we can't even get you the money that you have, or you don't have any. We need to start fresh. We need to start over, right? And we constantly see the Fed raising rates for the young people out there. They're like, I don't know what that even means. Look, the value of the dollar is being killed off. You probably notice it, but maybe some of you don't. You don't realize that when you're going to the grocery store, you're paying more money because most people don't even look at their bill, especially young people. You're paying more and more money. You're seeing less money in your bank account by design, right? And they are using the outbreak as an excuse to do these types of things. Oh, well, we're still recovering from it. We're recovering from something that they created. A psyop that they created on the masses. And more than a psyop, obviously, we had a lot of people who offed themselves. But listen to this clip from CNN where they're talking about Americans burning through all of their savings they built up. And, think about the other things here, too, where they're going to tell you, hey, you know what? There's no cash to go around anymore. Oh, there's no cash. But what we'll do is we'll transfer what you have digitally in your bank account into a digital currency, and we won't use cash anymore, because that's really what they're hinting at here. Take a look.
Americans have burned through nearly all the savings they built up during the pandemic, and now the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco is warning that a lack of available cash could hurt the economy. Julia Chatterley with us again at the table for more. A lot of the banks were waiting sort of for this day to come, saying, watch out. All of this excess cash or liquidity for someone at home
$2 trillion worth.
It's going to dry up, and then what? So then what is what the San Francisco Fed is addressing?
Yeah, they're saying that we could burn through this cash as early as this quarter. So this sort of day of reckoning that we've all been talking about could be upon us, because the consumer has been such a fundamental part of keeping the U.S. economy out of recession with all the spending that we're doing. So there is expected to be an impact. The question is, what do consumers do once this cash runs out? The backstop then is their weekly paychecks, monthly paychecks, of course, or debt. And that's especially true for lower income families, of course, because they've got less ability to adjust their spending.
So we're running out of cash, apparently, whatever that means. I mean, they're like, we're running out of cash. Oh, okay. Well, you print cash for all your billionaire buddies, Fed. The Rothschilds print cash and give it to these people. But they're running out of cash to give to us and put in circulation. I've covered this in the past, right? Remember during the outbreak, they tried to take cash away when it started because they were saying it was a way to transmit the disease. Oh, you might go to the store and someone might give you $1 and you might get a runny nose. Oh, we better get rid of cash. Oh, we're not going to circulate change anymore. You might have noticed they're not circulating change. They're telling you to round up at stores, right? These are all done by design to take cash and coins out of circulation. And then taking out of circulation, then they start saying, well, because of the outbreak, we can't print money anymore. We can't print money because everything's just crazy, so we can't print it. We ran out of paper, and these people are like, oh, okay, so what do we do now? I have, $60,000 in the bank. What do I do now? Well, you can transfer it into this Federal Reserve's digital currency, or you could go to $0. It's up to you. Oh, okay, well, I guess I better go to the digital currency, right? And then eventually that digital currency, which is total control, and most of these people won't realize it until they do or say something and the government freezes it, or, of course, they don't need to do it based on your political ideologies. They'll just be doing it based on your carbon footprint, because they'll be saying, hey, you know what? You can only you have 60 grand, you can only spend $6 this month because your carbon footprint, and you could spend $5 on food, and you could spend $2 on your electric bill. So good luck with all that. And people will be like, oh, okay, well, and then they'll come out and they'll say something real nice about it. So because these suckers will believe it, they'll be like, well, this way you'll save your money in the long run. We're helping you save too at the same time so you don't burn through your money. Oh, okay. $2 of electricity a month sounds like it's pretty cheap. Yeah, guess what? Your power is only on for 6 minutes a day. Okay, I hope you like, poop building up in your bowl, not being able to flush it. Hope you don't like showers too much. Hope you don't like, using a refrigerator, right? Hope you don't like, using your oven. Oh, I didn't think of that. But it's doing the right thing for the environment. Oh, okay. So continue being a sucker. So what they're talking about now is that households are depleting the cash reserve this quarter, eliminating a vital safety net that has helped to keep millions of families afloat during the ongoing inflation crisis. So if you don't think that this is done by design, well, you're out of your mind. They say our updated estimate, and of course they're planning on doing it again, another little nuking of the amount of money you have saved up. Because remember, they want this done by 2025, not even 2030 anymore. So, remember the clip of them? I played it before of 2025, wanting it by then now. Okay, so these people are obviously going to keep creating these things to continue to make people go out of business. We see what happened to so many small businesses who had to fold. And of course, they have no remorse for anybody because they're the ones who are doing it. So they say our updated estimates suggest that households held less than $190 billion of aggregate excess savings by June. The analysis published by the San Francisco Fed, they said there is considerable uncertainty in the outlook, but we estimate that these excess savings are likely to be depleted the third quarter of 2023. So remember, you're going to own nothing and be happy. So part of how they're doing this is they're just making everybody go broke, obviously. And people don't even realize it. You're spending more money on groceries, which some people are like, yeah, I know. But you're also getting less food product. Nobody looks at the labels on the food. They're giving less food in every box. Okay, bag of chips, right? We've all gotten potato chips before, whether on a road trip or whether you eat potato chips, right? And you notice, you're like, wow, this bag's really tall. And then it starts like in the middle of the bag, the chips. Well, it's gotten even lower. And I'm not saying that because I bought chips. Just look at the amount of ounces in food products, mac and cheese, all this stuff. It's smaller portions they're giving out, and you're paying more, okay? This is done by design, obviously. And of course, all these food manufacturers work with the government. They're all in bed with one another. So yeah, they're not even just giving you smaller rations. Of course, they're poisoning you with anything processed with the chemicals and the weed killer, among other things, that is in the food. So they say this is a cause for concern as the Federal Reserve credited the savings buildup with keeping the economy rolling despite dual headwinds from high inflation and rising interest rates. That's another thing, the rising interest rates, right? It's almost like they want to keep you where you are right now. They want to make sure you don't buy land or do anything else. Interest rates are through the roof, so nobody's going to get a mortgage. No one's going to get a loan, done by design. So be ready to be where you are, and then whatever they have planned for where you are, which is likely some type of direct energy weapon. At this point, that's what it looks like, unless they do some fake type of thing with Russia, which would likely be more likely be in a city than if you're out in the country. But out in the country, then you're a sitting duck for a direct energy weapon. So they say policy makers have signaled that they expect a slowdown in consumer spending in coming months as the pandemic era money continues to dwindle. Tight financial conditions, primarily reflecting the cumulative effect of the committee's shift to a restrictive policy stance, were expected to contribute to slower growth and consumption in the period ahead, said minutes from the Fed's July 25th, 26 meeting. Participants cited other factors that were likely leading to or appeared consistent with a slowdown in consumption, including the declining stock of excess savings, softening labor market conditions, and increased price sensitivity on the part of customers. And then what's the other story that we constantly are hearing about? Oh, AI is replacing humans. And we're okay with this, right? Everyone's like, oh, interesting. AI could do the job instead of a person. And then they make you think, well, that's great, right? And nobody goes, wait a minute. We're actually going to take food off of people's plates. We're going to take money out of their pockets, people who want to work. We're going to take jobs from them to give it to robots. Oh, so that all of these people, whether they're Republican or Democrat, like Jeff Bezos, etc., don't want to pay human beings. And it's not because they're cheapskates. It's because they have, they're going to enslave us to this technology. They're going to enslave us to all of these things that they have planned. And again, they're telling us that another one's right around the corner. And I'll cover that over on the website, uprisingrevival.com. Please make sure you join if you haven't yet, because you can't talk about this stuff here. You can barely talk about this stuff they're doing with the economy. You can barely talk about the smart cities. You can barely talk about it here, but you certainly cannot talk about the plans for the outbreak and what this is really about and what they're doing, right? And remember, this is going to go from the outbreak restrictions into the climate restrictions. They're just conditioning you with all this stuff, lockdowns, etc., and masks, because the same things are going to tie into the climate. Oh, you're giving out carbon, so you need to wear a mask. Oh, you're giving out carbon every time you leave your home. You have to stay locked down. Nobody connects the dots here. So by making people broke, obviously this is a way to herd them into smart cities. So anybody who's, even the middle class, I mean, and again, this is part of communism, destroy the middle class and Marxism, whatever you want to call it. They're all one and the same. Destroy the middle class, right? Take away savings from people and then take their jobs away. So then they become more dependent on what? The government to take care of them. And that's what they want at the end of the day, because then they're going to be able to herd you into their smart cities and make you a permanent prisoner to them. And they'll be able to tell you how much you could use, what you can spend, where you can go. And they'll be listening to everything you say, not like they're not doing that now, which they are, which I mean, is just, it shows you, I mean, these people are just psychopaths. Not only are they psychopaths, they're insecure. Like they want to know what we're talking about all the time. Like, get a life, really. These people have billions of dollars. Go vacation in Fiji for, 6 months. Enjoy the fact that you could do those things because you've ripped off society and pretty much laundered our tax money into your own pockets. Go do that. No, that's not enough for them. That's not enough. They want to know what you had for dinner. And again, they've convinced people to do these things as well, to like tag where they're going on social media. Like, I'm here. Hey, like idiots. These people are tagging all their stuff. They're posting pictures of their newborn babies, and they don't realize the stuff that they're giving to the government. They're like, what's the big deal? They're not going to do anything. Oh, they are going to do something. They are going to do something, and they already are obviously doing something. But people are just willingly giving up their privacy to the government and to everybody else. I mean, I said it in a recent video, how many people watched it on the wrestler that died. It's amazing to me. I see these people tweeting stuff. Right? They get no reaction. They get no comments. And they're just like, that was really wonderful. I want to send my prayers to so-and-so. I'm like, who are you talking to? They don't even realize they're talking to nobody, but they're so narcissistic, they just want to post their thoughts 24/7 with nobody listening. Right? They want to post what they're having for dinner. They want to talk about their day at work. And they're just giving information and data. This is all about data. And they're giving it to the government. So back to the stuff with the money, right? They're going to take money out of circulation. That's one of the things that they plan on doing. We can't print money anymore. And of course, they use the outbreak, like I said, as an excuse to not print money because they were just like, hey, you could transmit it through money. People are like, oh, then we need to get rid of it. And everyone's just obviously already desensitized. So they're going to go, well, I don't use cash anyway. I always pay with a credit card. I always pay with PayPal. This is done by design, of course. They gave people years and years and years of getting used to paying online for stuff or paying with credit cards, obviously going back to the 80s when credit cards came out, or 70s, right? Well, they did this deliberately, right? To get people used to not using cash because they can't control cash. That's what it's about. People don't realize that. They're like, who cares about cash? I pay online anyway. The government wants to control you. With cash, they can't control you. They can't track what you're doing, what you're spending on. With digital, they'll track it. And then they'll use the climate as an excuse to do that. So they're going to make everybody broke. They're going to give everybody universal basic income. They're going to tell everybody that we all deserve to have the same universal basic income while they're flying around in their private jets, right? And while we have a world currency, because this all ties into the one world currency. So the dollar is obviously has to be destroyed. If you didn't see the video I did about the summit BRICS, or like I said in the video, I like to call them PRICS, the countries that are meeting or were just meeting down in South Africa. Well, what are they doing down there? Well, they're talking about destroying the dollar. And our government obviously is sitting back and not caring because they want the dollar destroyed, right? And they could easily play the role being like, people could hear that and be like, why are they talking about destroying the dollar down here? Where's our government? They're like, oh, Joe Biden's an idiot, right? He's an idiot by design. I mean, he is an idiot, I'm sure, in real life. If you ever heard his speeches from the 70s and stuff, the guy plagiarizes other people. He just makes stories up. He's a liar more than anything else. But by design, right? They're like, oh my gosh, these people are meeting together talking about the destruction of the dollar. So when the destruction of the dollar happens, which is happening right now, this government's people are just going to believe it because they're going to go, oh yeah, they're not going to believe that their government was working to do it to us. They're just going to be like, they were on cruise control because they're so stupid. No, if people realize that our government is sabotaging us, then people would turn on the government and realize that these people all need to go, Republican and Democrat, because they don't have our best interest at heart. They are not working for us. They're working to destroy us and ruin our lives. So these are the types of stories you're going to continue to hear about money, about people not having money, about inflation, about not being able to print cash anymore. The banks are running out of money. the Fed's running out of money to print, and this is how they transition you into a digital currency. And people just don't realize it. It's a system of control. And you can sit there and you can go, well, I don't say anything that's anti-government, so I don't care. Look, it's not about saying anything that's anti-government. Your carbon footprint is what this gets tied to. So even if you're a dork and you want to sit there and you want to play Nintendo or you want to play Xbox for 12 hours a day, guess what? That comes from electricity. You're not going to have electricity, okay? You're only going to be limited to how much electricity you could use a day. So it will affect you. And once you realize that it's affecting you, it's going to be too late. So if the people could somehow wake up, maybe it could be stopped, but I doubt it. I thank everyone for being here. I hope you're all doing well. Please check out uprisingrevival.com if you haven't, and please make sure you sub to my backup channels below. Hope you're all doing well. God bless all of you as always and your families.